What's going on, traders? John with Tactical Trading here with our OTC Saturday video. We've got a lot of stocks to go over today. Recently, the OTC market has been on fire. We've had some runners that have went over 1,000%, hundreds of percent. So, excuse me. Right now is probably one of the best times in the OTC market that I've seen in years. We're going to start with some stocks that I've been mentioning over the past OTC Saturday videos, the past few watch lists. First stock is going to be DSGT, DSG Global. This stock closed at 0.26895, so a shade under 27 cents. This thing was up 41% on Friday. It was also up significantly on Thursday as well, too. They came out with a PR stating that they got their California DMV dealer license, so that they're now able to sell and take purchase orders for these EVs that they're receiving from John Way and Skywell. This is a huge revelation for this company. Soon to be, I'm waiting for a PR probably sometime next week that they are filling that experience center over there in California. Once they do and they put up their new website, pictures, everything of this nature, this stock could, in my opinion, fulfill what I've been saying for this stock probably for the last 2 or 3 months, if not more, about the last 2 or 3 months. In fact, we highlighted this stock again at 7 cents. This thing the following day shot up to 27 cents, pulled back down into the 4s, and has now been grinding its way back up ever since. We've had some heavy pushes. The recent high is 33 cents. Right now closing at a shade under 27 cents. I think those 33 cent recent highs are very attainable, probably early next week. If we bust through those, the sky's the limit. I have been saying this is a 50-cent or better stock, in my opinion. Probably the best value in the electric vehicle market as far as dollar for dollar. This is a lower float EV play. This is not an OTC with 5.5, 6 billion shares out there, outstanding shares. This is a very low float play. If this thing gets any type of volume, I'm talking, in the 20, 25, 30 million volume or better, this thing will take off and go parabolic. So we're definitely still watching DSGT going forward. Still one of my favorite stocks in the market. So DSGT probably one of the prime candidates this week. Like I said, I got the watch list tomorrow. We may see DSGT on that watch list as well too. Another stock we're going to be talking about is a stock we talked about three or four times in the last week, and that's Tesoro Enterprises, TSNP, or Humble, better known as they're merging with. This stock closed at 0.0209. It was up 8% on Friday. This stock had a now it doesn't look like it did, only up 8%, but had a very strong day on Friday for the future. Excuse me. This stock actually looked like it established 2 as a very good support range for this stock. This thing, the market makers did trigger some stop losses at the end of the day when they pushed it a little below 2. This thing shot all the way back down to a 0.018, and then grinded its way and shot right back up past 2 within minutes. So you can see that there's interest, there's strength, and a lot of people are interested in this stock. It's still traded high volume, hundreds of millions of shares. This thing has traded massive amount of volume over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I think that continues. This may be one of the best stories in the OTC market right now. In my opinion, this is probably the best play in the OTC market, along with DSGT and another play that I will be mentioning. I just think this play has so much going for it. We all know the story. I went into detail just on Sunday, and Saturday and Sunday of last week, as far as describing this company and what they have going for it. I don't think this stops anytime soon. I can definitely see this stock hitting anywhere between 5 and 10 cents before its conference call on the 9th of December, if I'm not mistaken, where they'll probably be coming out with some more revelations. Also, George Sharp, one of the advisors, stated that they will probably have a PR or 2 every week. He said not every week, but close to every week. They'll probably be putting out PRs probably Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think they may shift that a bit. What happened last week is the stock on the day before the PRs on Monday and on Wednesday, these stocks shot shot up and grinded up really strong, and then the day of the PR, they gapped up and then collapsed. I think they want to kind of offset that, so they may throw a PR on a Monday, they may throw it on a Wednesday, a Friday. I'm not sure what they're going to do to offset that, but I think what's happening is this thing is getting a lot of short pressure, a lot of profit taking, and a lot of people still not realizing the gravity of this play. This is a digital payment play that is global. They're reaching far more people than just the 340 million people in the United States. They just partnered up with a bank in Brazil. They're in India and all those surrounding countries. They're in Africa, basically Nigeria and some of the surrounding countries. And they're going to be branching into the U.S. market. So I'm very excited to see what this stock has as far as the future. So I'm still very, very interested in TSNP. The next stock we're going to be talking about is a stock that I talked about quite some time ago. It was under 2 cents. It was in my three stocks under 2 cents to watch video. This probably came out maybe about 2.5 months ago. And this is Biorestorative Therapeutics. It was BRTXQ just the other day. They dropped the Q, meaning they have now emerged from bankruptcy. The ticker symbol now is BRTX. This is, in my opinion, a very exciting play with the stem cell therapy. It's actually called BRTX 100. This is for spinal issues. This could be a really, really big drug coming out, a huge therapy which could generate tons of revenue with these guys. Again, the story that they're emerging from bankruptcy, that's a huge story. And not to mention that this stock ran into the 4 cents, above 4 cents, just on anticipation of coming out of bankruptcy. I do think there was a little confusion late in the week. I think a lot of inexperienced traders, some traders were still looking for BRTXQ, couldn't find it. Some of the brokers didn't change the name till a little bit later in the day after they put out their PR. So I'm assuming there was a little bit of confusion, and when it got pushed down, people kind of gave up on it. I don't think this story's done. Biorestorative closed, or BRTX closed on Friday at 0.0169. It was down 14%. Down 14% on the day it released its PR that they're emerging from bankruptcy. I think this stock is just like TSNP. I think this stock is an absolute steal where it is. I can definitely see this being a 5 or 6 cent stock in the very, very near future. So the top 3 stocks I like are DSGT is one we're very familiar with on this channel. TSNP, another one that we're very familiar with on this channel, and BRTX. Now I'm going to go into some other stocks that I'm watching very, very closely, just due to the fact that we're getting this kind of craze of a lot of these very, very low sub-penny stocks starting to get some news, get these mergers going, and then they start flying. And finding some of these opportunities can garner you some absolute massive profits. Now, just last week, if you would have bought, let's just say, I actually called out TSNP at 0.0032. Now right now that thing ran all the way up to 0.036. So we're talking well over 100% or 1,000% gains on that one. If you were to, let's just say, for instance, if you would have put just a few bucks in at $100, $1,000 in at that time, you would have made massive profits. Even selling when that thing hit its high and started collapsing, even if you would have sold in the high 2s, the mid 2s, you still would have made massive profits. And I think these opportunities, because of TSNP, they're gonna be there, because the market tends to repeat itself. People tend to see these things and say, well, this might be the next one. This one might be the next one. And in doing so, this could cause a lot of mass buying and a lot of pressure on some of these stocks. A couple of the ones that I'm looking at very closely, 2 in fact, VSYM. This is View Systems Inc. This stock closed at 0.0007. Very cheap stock, but it was up 133% on Friday. This is a weapon detection system company. Their 52-week high is 0.0024, so about 300, a little over over 300% more than where it sits right now. They had their highest volume day that they've ever had on Friday, so that's very good news because volume precedes price, and when you start getting volume into some of these stocks, the price tends to follow afterwards. If this thing breaks 0.0012, this is where a little bit of resistance I see, and I also, which is a recent high, and I also see 0.0015 as a little bit of resistance. So we're talking just a little bit over 100% from where we sit right now. This thing has blue skies all the way up to its 52-week highs. So there's still a lot of room to run in this stock, and I think VSYM is something you definitely want to put on your watch list. If you start seeing this thing breaking, that 0.001 area, this might be a very interesting buy to take a look at. So I would definitely be looking at VSYM. Another stock which I actually took a small starter position in on Friday, I like this very much. This is one of my favorite little tiny plays in the market right now, is ICTY. This is iCity.com Inc. These guys closed at the same price, 0.0007. These guys were up only 8% on Friday. This company, I'm actually looking for an announcement early next week. This company's getting into the cannabis market and the cannabis industry. This company has no evident resistance to its 52-week high of 0.0012, and any merger news, in my opinion, will propel this blow it right past the 52-week highs to uncharted territory, and this thing can really fly. So I really like ICTY as a stock. You really want to put these two on your watch list. These could be, I never want to say the next TSNP, because TSNP was an anomaly. It doesn't happen very often, but if you can even get 1/3 of the gains that were garnered from TSNP out of either one of these two, you could be looking at huge profits. Now, we're going to be talking about a couple other stocks. In fact, we're going to be talking about 4 other stocks. All these I've mentioned before, but I want you to keep them on your watch list in the OTC market because these are very hot stocks, and I think they have a lot of room to run. First one is Solar, BSRC. This stock closed at 0.0089. This was up 27% on Friday. This is the stock I mentioned probably about a month and a half ago in my swing trades video. This was part of my OTC swing trades. These guys are involved, as I said in that video, they're involved in the EV market and EV charging and things of that nature. So if these guys get a little momentum and break that penny area can finally not be resistance, but then becoming support, and then this thing can fly. This thing shot up all the way into the 4-cent area, so there's still room to run. There's some elasticity in this stock, so I definitely would take a look at BSRC. 3 other stocks that I'm looking at are 3 stocks that I've recently talked about, but I definitely want you to keep them on your watch list. I've talked about them just in the last couple of weeks. One is CBBT. This stock closed at 0.0142. It was down 5% on Friday. These guys have a pending merger with PKG coming up. This merger could be huge. I think this stock right now at $0.015 is a steal, and I think with merger news, this thing can reach into the 5-6 cent area, absolutely no problem. So I would definitely be keeping a very close eye on CBBT. In fact, I can get into a little bit of details about CBBT. Let me take a look here. I mentioned them not too long ago in one of my OTC Saturday videos. Take a look here. Okay, this is Urbane Biotech. At the time, they were actually quite a bit higher. They were actually 0.0242. They were up 74% on that day, and they had broken their 52-week high. This is a developmental stage medical device company focused on the creation and clinical development of minimally invasive implantable devices. And drug solutions for Alzheimer's. Again, like I said, they're actually looking to merge with a company called PKG, and in my opinion, this can be absolutely huge for this company. So I would definitely keep CBBT on your watch list. Another one is the one I talked about on that very same day of that OTC Saturday a couple weeks back, and this is VISM Technologies, VISM. VISM closed at 0.0013, so they're they're a little over a tenth of a penny. They were up 18% on Friday. That is VISM. VISM Technologies. This is a global cybersecurity company, machine learning, advanced technology, and automation services company focused on focused on protecting companies and enterprises' data. So they're a data protection company. On the 22nd of October, they paid off all their debt in full, the remaining $77,000 that they had in convertible notes, and this should end any toxic dilution as far as what they're saying. Again at 0.0013, these guys have quite a bit of room to run. In fact, on that day, let's take a peek here real quick if you don't mind. I just lost that page here. On that day. There we go. Man, I'm losing pages here. I should have been a little more prepared for this one, if you don't mind. But whatever, it doesn't really matter. We're keeping an eye on VISM, and at 0.0013, right now they have pulled back quite significantly. I think VISM can run pretty hard. The last one we just talked about a couple weeks ago was ATVK. This stock closed at 0.015. They were down 2% on Friday. They just recently had a nice run from under a penny. These guys are also a merger company. They actually... I don't think anything has been put out as far as them into a merger, but if something happens with that, this ATVK can really run. So the main stocks that I'm really looking at next week, as far as in the OTC market, we're looking at DSGT, we're looking at TSNP, and we're looking at BRTX. Those are the three stocks I want to keep a very close eye on. Those are my top plays in the OTC market. Some of the stocks I'm looking at is possible sub-penny runners that could make a lot of noise coming up in the future. VSYM, this is View Systems Inc. One of my favorites, ICTY, this is iCity.com. VISM, VISM Technologies, and ATVK and CBBT. These are two companies that are above a penny, but they are in in the merger. We were waiting for confirmation of anything happening with these companies. So once something does happen, I really think these companies can fly. So that's all I got for you as far as OTC Saturday. I'm sorry I wasn't as prepared as I should have been. I should have had everything marked up and written out. Just kind of wanted to go on the fly today. Got a lot of stuff going on with the kids here. So as always, please like, please share, please subscribe. Any comments or questions, put them in the comment section below. I want to also get off on a little bit of a tangent here. I read a comment the other day, and someone was a little irritated that I ended up selling OPTI. Basically said, you said you had it in your long-term account, and now you said you shaved it off your long-term account. It's trading flat. That's actually a sign of accumulation. I'm all ears. Explain to me. Let me be just about as blunt and as frank as I can be. From the day I started this channel, I've told you guys, I've told everyone, I am a day trader. I hold very, very few stocks long term. And for the most part, long term for me might be a month or two. That's about as long term as I get. I don't put stuff away and sit there and sit on it for 8 or 9 months. If a stock is trading sideways, even if it's in my longer term account and the stock is trading sideways, and I see another opportunity where I could take that money out, put it in another opportunity, let that grow, and then put it back and maybe get back into that opportunity, the stock that I got out of at a later date at relatively the same price, I would suggest everybody does that. I don't understand why somebody is I'll see stock fan pages. Like, I am a fan of a stock. I am not a fan of any of these companies. They're in the OTC market for a reason. The majority of these companies are crap. Most of them are garbage, and that's the reason they're trading sub-penny. That's the reason they're trading pennies. These are not your Apples, your Microsofts, your Teslas. These are, your Procter and Gamble's and your Johnson and Johnson's. These are not these companies. And now some of them may become these companies in the future, a development, a breakthrough, something can happen, they come up with an invention, anything can happen where these companies become a very prominent name. And it's always good to take a risk and say, you know, I got a small portion of my portfolio, put in something, I think this could be something down the line. There's nothing wrong with that. Never become a fan of a stock. They will break your heart, I promise you. Especially a very low price OTC stock. Again, if the stock doesn't behave the way you want it to behave, get out of it. You can always get back in. There's no rule saying, well, I sold this stock, now they're not going to let me back in. You can always get back in. If the circumstances change, if it starts to run a little bit, yeah, you might miss a little bit of that run. You may. Big deal. All I'm looking for is a small piece of the move. One of the best trades I've ever made was on TSNP. And that's because I got in and I held it for a few days. I got in at .004. It went down that day. It ended up, when I called it out to you guys, it was in the threes. I held it. I said, I know there's a merger coming, so I'm going to hold it through this merger and see what they have. George Sharp, one of the advisors, said, we have a PR coming here, we got another one here, and then we got another one next week that's going to blow your mind. Well, of course I'm going to hold it through that. And through that, the stock went from .004, where I purchased it, all the way up to 3.5 cents, where I got out at .0352. Made astronomical gains, the best trade I've ever had, and made it right there on that trade. What I did then, it crashed. I was out. I sold at 3.5 cents, .0352. I sold it. I bought it again at .0197. The day, and in fact, that was I believe it was Wednesday or Thursday. The thing shot up all the way to 2.5. Over 2.5. The following morning it crashed. I was still holding it as it crashed. I'm like, man, I lost all my profits. Now I'm actually at a loss. But I hung on to it because I believed in the stock. Then, as it hit the bottom, shot all the way up to 2.5, where I got out at 2.5 cents. Then, yesterday, I got back in at 2 pennies. Why? Because I believe in the stock. But why am I going to hold through every swing and that's just not how I trade. Now, other people may be traders like that. You may want to hold on through something like that. It may not bother you. It bothers me. Trading, the way you're going to be the best trader you could possibly be is trade to your personality and who you are. I am very impatient. I am not someone that's going to sit through swings. I'd prefer to sell at where I perceive as the high and then get back in at a lower price. I prefer not to ride it down. Some people, I mean, if let's just say, for instance, TSNP again. Let's say this stock ends up $1. And you got in at a third of a penny, and this thing goes to $1. You might well be a millionaire. This thing could buy a house for you. And you held it all the way through. Well, that's because you could. That's because you had that's your personality. For me, I'm not like that. I'd rather have traded it 20 times and made my money. Yeah, I might have missed out on some, but what I missed out on, I had in other opportunities as well too, so I may have made up for it. It's just my personality. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. But everybody has their own trading style. And if it works, it works. I have a set of rules that I abide by and I trade by, and I do not break my rules. Plain and simple. It's made me successful. So, therefore, I will not go against my rules. I suggest you guys do the same. Make your own rules. Stick by your rules and you will be more successful. I just kind of wanted to get that out of my chest, and I do want to apologize to that subscriber. I kind of went in on him a little bit on the video. I should have probably I do apologize. But, you know, I do appreciate every one of you guys. But I just get a little irritated when I see someone trying to, you know, critique what I say, saying that either, I mean, I'm not sure what you were trying to say, but the way you came off to me is that you were kind of like, hey, you said this and I'm all ears, you're full of crap. I've been basically consistent from the day I started this channel. I am a day trader and a short-term swing trader. Very, very few stocks I hang on to. In fact, the longest I've ever hung on to a stock was DSGT. I've had that since the 10-cent area, and I'm still holding DSGT. Now, earlier last week, I did cut 30% of my DSGT holdings, And then when they came out with that PR, I got back in on a dip at around 16 cents and recop my whole position. Did it ruin my average? A little bit, but I made profit. So it didn't really hurt me either way. But I'm just not a very long-term type of guy. A few stocks that I do like as far as DSGT, TSNP, yes, I do think these could be, and also BRTX, I think these can be long-term holds. Even CBBT, that's probably my fourth favorite out of this whole batch. But you know, I'm just not a long-term trader. That's just who I am. I suggest you do what you do best. Do what fits your personality. Do what's best for you, and you will make more money. So, again, please like, please share, please subscribe. Any comments or questions, put them in the comment section below. I do apologize about that rant. I just kind of had to get that off my chest. And let's get that money. We will see you tomorrow.